What's going on, guys? Jacob Ober here, coming to you with my review for Spider-Man No Way Home. And I will warn you guys, there are spoilers in this video. There are a lot of spoilers that are going to be in this video because I feel like it's almost impossible to review this movie without talking about spoilers. So that is your warning. But I just got back from the opening night premiere at my local cinema, and I can confidently say that this is probably my favorite Spider-Man movie ever. As a guy who grew up with the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies and who was, okay with the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and I, as an avid fan of the MCU Spider-Man, this one is definitely top of the top for me. It's there's just so much that happened in this movie, but it's got such heart, it's got such emotion, it's funny, it's lighthearted, but it's also dark and brutal and violent at times, and it's also depressing and sad. It really gets with every single emotion that you could possibly have in this movie. I mean, there's moments where you're laughing one moment, and then a second later it's like, oh my god, wow, that was hits you like a freight train. Um, but to address the rumors about two certain actors that previously portrayed Spider-Man on the big screen, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, I can say yes, they are in this movie. And it's not until later than I expected them to come to the movie, but they still are in the movie for a pretty decent amount of time, and they do have an important role to play. It's not just, hey, look, it's two Spider-Mans, they do have a very, very important role to play in the movie, and it is pretty amazing to see all three on the screen at the same time. I mean, like, you could just never imagine it. It's like every moment that I saw both of them, all three of them on the screen, it was like, wow, I can't believe I'm experiencing this. I can't believe I'm seeing Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland as Spider-Man in the same movie, in the same shot. I mean, it's working together, fighting together, coordinating together. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe it. As far as the villains go, they are some of the highlights of this film for me, especially the Green Goblin, played by William Dafoe, and Alfred Molina as Doc Ock. Those two in particular were excellent. I did like Jamie Foxx a lot as Electro too. The other two, Sandman and the Lizard, didn't have much to do. They're still interesting and good to have in the movie for sure, but they didn't really do as much as the other three did, and especially the other two, I would say, Doc Ock and Green Goblin. But Green Goblin in this movie, I mean, he is the one that really steals the show for me. This is an excellent performance by Dafoe. I mean, it might even be better than his original performance in Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man from 2002. It is that good. And there are moments, where it's just like, he snaps, turns from Norman to the Goblin, and it is, it's quite terrifying, honestly. He is maniacal and crazy, and is, there's a scene in particular that is just, it's not the final battle, but it is the precursor to the final battle, and it is brutal. It is like, oh my god, this guy is like unrelenting, and he is kicking the shit out of Spider-Man, along with some of the other villains in the scene as well. Um, and I will say the final battle is definitely up there for top final battles in the entire MCU for sure. The special effects were incredible, just incredible, and there are some, shots. The cinematography is just beautiful. There's some shots of all three Spider-Man that are just perfect. It's just perfect. As a Spider-Man fan, you see the shot and like, oh my god, yep, that's a screensaver, that's a wallpaper at some point in my life. That shot right there. Um, but yeah, I mean, the final battle, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty spectacular, and then kind of the very end of the final battle is where it gets really, really, really serious. And it gets like to the darkest point it got, as we've seen maybe any Spider-Man get to. And Tom Holland knocks it out of the park in this scene. Goblin doesn't show up until the very end of the final battle, and he and Tom are fighting on the Statue of Liberty, the shield that they were putting on the Statue of Liberty to honor Captain America. They're fighting on that, and Tom's Spider-Man, Tom's Peter Parker is kicking the living crap out of the Green Goblin, and he is about to kill the Green Goblin, Norman. And with his own glider too, he picks it up and he's about to do it, um, and then uh, and then Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker comes in and stops him. Like he catches it and stops him from doing it, and I just I loved it. I loved that part, and it was crazy to see like a Spider-Man doing that of all people, like because Spider-Man has always been somebody who uh doesn't go the dark route as much. He's a funny, he's lighthearted, and this performance by Tom Holland, especially in that scene, was just like, my God, I've never seen Peter Parker ever that violent or ever that intent on killing somebody. Except for, of course, when Uncle Ben dies in the previous movies and stuff like that. But like, obviously, the catalyst event for that, or I shouldn't say obviously, you guys, if you're watching this, maybe you've seen the movie, maybe you haven't. But yes, there is a death in this movie, and Aunt May is the one to die in this movie. It's kind of like Tom Holland's Peter Parker, his Uncle Ben moment. We don't know what happened to Uncle Ben in the MCU. I don't really think they talk about it in this movie at all, but it is kind of like the moment for him, and he's out for revenge after that. And he wants to kill Green Goblin. He wants to murder him, or not murder him. I don't know if you want to say murder or kill, whatever. It's a fine line there, but um, yeah, Green Goblin kills Aunt May after that brutal fight sequence leading up to the final battle where Tom Holland's Peter Parker is getting the shit kicked out of him, and it's pretty intense for sure, and the whole movie itself is pretty intense. But I will say this, I'm not really sure where they go with Spider-Man after this. Or I shouldn't say that. It's just like there's such a wide range of what they can do with him after this, and I'm really, really excited to see where they go with Spider-Man after this, because he's definitely like the face of the MCU right now, and this movie is going to earn billions of dollars at the box office for certain. So I am really, really excited to see where they go with him. They can go in so many different directions. I think it's pretty safe to say it's going to involve him going off to college. I don't know whether or not Ned or MJ are going to be involved ever again in the franchise. Honestly, I'm not sure. I would hope that they are, but it kind of. I mean, Peter Parker gets an apartment in the epilogue in New York City, and those two are off to MIT, Ned and MJ. So I don't know if we're going to see them ever again in the MCU. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I don't know. But it is definitely a somber epilogue for sure, and it definitely leaves the door wide open. And it also answers the critics who have been saying, oh my God, Peter Parker's been handed everything in his life. He's got all the Stark tech, whatever, and now he has nothing. He has nothing. He's broke. Nobody knows who he is. Nobody knows who Peter Parker is. He has no family left, no friends, no money. I mean, he has nothing. All he has is Spider-Man now, and that is just, you can do so much with that. They left it on a perfect note to set up another trilogy for his character, and I am just so excited to see it. But overall, any issues I might have had with the movie? I mean, I've mainly been talking as a fan here. I would say that the first maybe half or so kind of felt, I don't know, it wasn't as engaging as the rest of the movie, that's for sure. And there's a certain point in the movie where things, just take that dark, serious tone, and shift the whole movie. And that's when I'm like, oh my God, now this is getting crazy. Because before that, I was kind of like, yeah, this is a pretty good movie, but it was kind of standard MCU kind of movie up until that point. And then it just took that turn. I'm like, yeah, that's really what made it a great movie, in my opinion. I think I would say it starts a bit slow. Of course, it's at the beginning you're kind of dealing with Peter Parker's identity being revealed to the world and stuff, and it is cleared up pretty quickly though, and getting into the multiversal stuff doesn't take very long, maybe 20-30 minutes, and the fight sequence with Doc Ock on when he's the first villain to show up, that's a great one for sure. I kind of wish it lasted longer though, honestly, because some of the choreography for that was really, really interesting and awesome. Seeing, them kind of fight with Spider-Man having like the arms and Doc Ock having his arms. It was really cool to watch that. But overall, yeah, I mean that was I don't know if I could write a more perfect Spider-Man movie. It was great. It was like, you know, it was a Christmas present to all Spider-Man fans and myself included, and I am glad I got to watch that in the theater. And I encourage anybody who hasn't seen it yet to get to the theater as soon as possible and watch, because you are not gonna regret it. But anyways, that's my review for No Way Home. I would say, out of 10, I'd probably get it a 10 out of 10. Honestly, I mean there are a few MCU movies I would probably rank up there with the 10 out of 10s, and No Way Home is definitely one of them. I mean, this is definitely on Infinity War, Endgame, Civil War, Winter Soldier type level for me, and I don't know if I would say I would rank it particularly above any of those ones, but it's definitely on their level for sure. So, anyways, guys, that's all I got to say in this review. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Hopefully, you guys didn't watch this review before watching the movie, because I spoiled a lot in this review. But if you just saw the movie, or if you've already seen it, hope you guys enjoyed this review, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video.